and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to episode 6 of my sub setup series. In case you haven't seen this before, what this is a series where you send me your setups and then I showcase them here on the channel. So it's important to know that I take absolutely no credit for any of the builds within this series. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Audi Quattro S1, and the build has been sent down by Punkster187. So a massive thank you to you for taking your time out to actually send this build over to me. Now, it was always going to be a bit of a challenge for me. Like I said in the last video, I don't often actually drift four-wheel drive anymore. I far prefer rear-wheel drive. However, just like any build that's been sent to me throughout this series, I like to spend a lot of time with the vehicle before I actually do any of the challenges or just record, because I like to feel comfortable with it. I certainly want the drifts to look good, and I want to give your car a fair chance against the others on the table when we get to that challenge. So I spent a bit of time with it, and I have to say it didn't take me long to get back into the whole four-wheel drive drifting thing, and before long I was back into doing the 360 entries and reverse entries and just messing around with it in general, which is what I really enjoy about the four-wheel drive drift cars. The build itself is very simple to use. It's very predictable. What I will say, just like most of the four-wheel drive cars though, you do have to initiate quite hard with this. It likes to grip as you would expect having the four-wheel drive. But once you initialise into the corner using the handbrake or the brake, this car absolutely loves to go sideways, backwards, 360, whichever way you want it to go, and it is very controllable. Just remember, if you are very used to using rear-wheel drive cars only, with the four-wheel drive side of things, you won't really need to counter-steer too much. In fact, counter-steering tends to be quite a bad idea. You're more often than not actually holding the turn into the corner to keep the car skidding, because otherwise it will just pull straight again and you'll lose your drift. Now, as with all of the other videos in this series, there is a leaderboard and a challenge on the go for every single one of these cars involving the Drag and Trail Drift Trial. Now, this one's going to be quite interesting because it's a four-wheel drive, and every other car that's been up so far has been rear-wheel drive. So it'll be nice to see exactly where this one comes in the table. But just quickly, before I take you over to that challenge, I'm just going to throw up my details on the screen now. These two are the best ways to get hold of me if you did want to send over your setups to me. You can either send me a picture in a direct message on Instagram, or alternatively just contact me directly on the PlayStation, and again just send some pictures over via the messaging app. So now moving on to the challenge. Now, I had to restrain myself slightly because I just wanted to constantly 360 entry this car and reverse entry and things like that, but obviously you earn very few points because you tend to lose them all as soon as you're going backwards. So I had to go into this with a slightly different state of mind and obviously play it very safe on each of the corners. As always, the rules are very simple. I literally just have 5 minutes to complete as many drift trials as I possibly can on Drag and Trail. Whichever is the highest score is the one that is going to be used today on the leaderboard, and then yeah, we just see how well the car does. This was the best run that you're seeing right now, and I have to say, compared to a rear-wheel drive car, I do find it a little bit more difficult to get good points with a four-wheel drive vehicle. It tends to want to either under sort of rotate and straighten out far too quickly, so you start to lose your points, or alternatively it's very easy to then sort of rotate it too far because it kind of naturally just feels comfortable to do that with the four-wheel drive. But obviously the most important thing here is to try and keep it controlled, keep it towards the apex of the corner, and that's how you're going to score the most points. And there you have it. So Punkster187, congratulations, your Audi Quattro S1 build came in 3rd place with 10,252 points. Very respectable and definitely something to be proud of. But the big question is, who is going to knock .cfg off the top? I've got another 3 builds ready to go, so it'll be interesting to see how they all do. But once again, congratulations Punkster187, and thanks so much for sending your build in. What I'm going to do now is take you straight over to Punkster's build, so if you fancy having a go with it at home, you can. Just make sure if you do give it a go that you actually leave a comment down below to let him know exactly what you think of it. It's always great to have feedback, and I'm sure he'd love to hear yours. So for Punkster's build here, you don't need to do what I've done, which is pay for any mileage points. He's actually taken the power ratio down to 80%, which is going to leave you 471 brake horsepower. Weight reduction wise, he's left that because you can't adjust it at level 1 and just at 100% there, which is going to be 1,000 kilograms. Traction control for this build is set to 0. Now he's got comfort hard tyres, both front and rear. The brake balance is set to 0. Ride height wise, you've got 80 on the front and 80 on the back. Natural frequency 2.2 all round there. The anti-roll bar is set to 5 on the front and 8 on the rear. The compression there is set to 58 both front and rear. The rebound is 88 both front and rear. Camber angle on the front is set to 1 and 1.5 on the back. The toe angle on the front is set to 0 and on the back is in 0.6. Downforce there is taken down as much as possible, so 100 on the front and 200 on the rear. The differential has had a bit of change to it as well here, so the front is just set to 5 for all three, and on the rear there the torque is set to 25, the acceleration sensitivity is 45, and the braking sensitivity is set to 5. Now in terms of the torque distribution, he's gone for a 30-70 mix, and the transmission here is fully customised. Max speed is set to 155, and I'll leave these figures on the screen for you just so you can copy them over to your build as well. What I will say though, just very quickly, after playing around with this, I did play with the torque distribution, and that for me is the area that I would personally change. It certainly improved for me, but again, it's down to the fact that I use rear wheel drive quite frequently. But by moving that torque distribution to a split of 10-90, I just found the car a lot easier to get along with. But again, like I say, please try it as Punkster has intended it to be tried, and let him know down below exactly what you think of it. As always, please remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, and also use the comment section to let me know if there's any other games you'd like to see me playing in the future. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, I'm going to have an announcement soon once the channel hits 1,000 subscribers, where there will be a chance for you to win prizes, and I'll see you all on the next one.